Hi, and welcome to the third ever episode of Countersteer. I'm Rayan, and here we try to give bite-sized chunks of automotive history. We're a new podcast, so if we fumble something along the way, please forgive us. I find cars fascinating, and I hope that you will too. And with that now, let's get started on the story of the Dodge Viper. It all started in the late 1980s at the headquarters of wood paneling and boats with four wheels Chrysler. In the 1980s, Chrysler was playing a game of Uno. You never knew what cards they were going to play next. First, in 1979, Chrysler got a $1.5 billion loan from the government, courtesy of Lee Iacocca, the man behind the Mustang, and a character in the Ford vs. Fry movie. Which is a great movie, by the way. I highly recommend it. Side note, only in America can a massive billion-dollar car company go against a little guy in Italy making cars and be called the underdog. But back to the story. After they got some money in their pocket from the government, Chrysler went on to release a couple cars in 1981. In 1982, Chrysler sold Chrysler Defense, a tank builder whose tank reliability I can only wonder about, to General Dynamics, which is a defense corporation who does tanks and other war-related stuff. They sold Chrysler Defense for $348 million, deepening Chrysler's pockets with a lot of money. After that, they released a couple of cars and stuff, normal car company stuff. In 1987, they teamed up with Mitsubishi to create Diamond Star Motors, a car company that did okay. Also in 1987, they went and bought American Motors Corporation, aka AMC, for $1.5 billion, draining all the pocket money that they got from the government from those loans. They did this because they wanted to bring Jeep into the Chrysler family. And also, continuing the trend of buying car companies that year, Chrysler bought Lamborghini. The complete opposite of Chrysler, who mass-produced cheap cars, Lamborghini, who produced premium and luxury sports cars. For some odd reason, they bought it. And then came 1988. In 1988, Bob Lutz, the then chairman of Chrysler, wanted to revive the classic American muscle car, a sort of, at the time, modern reincarnation of the famed Shelby Cobra, which he dearly loved. Tom Gale wanted to produce a car that could rival the little guy in Italy called Enzo Ferrari by creating a 400 horsepower car. At this time, the dream had now taken off, and a few months later, a clay model of the car was created and presented at the 1989 North American International Auto Show, after being greenlighted by Lee Iacocca, who was Chrysler's then CEO. Its striking design was really characterized by its long hood, really low to the ground body, and its muscular fenders, which really turned heads in the show. And the car was an instant hit. They reportedly started getting orders even before the show ended. And this is all based off of the concept car. Wild. Now we can start talking about the actual juicy details of the car. Basically, the car can be summed up in really two words: fast death, I think. And so the first iteration of the car, or the first generation, was absolutely ridiculous. 400 horsepower, 465 foot-pounds of torque, and an 8-liter V10, which is developed by a Chrysler-owned Lamborghini. It had no ABS or stability control. Let me say that again. No ABS or stability control. That's wild. Even the newest Mitsubishi Mirage, a car with 78 horsepower, has stability control. Can you imagine driving a Viper with no stability control? Absolute death wish. Recipe for fast death. And it also had no windows or roof, because who needs those, and weight savings are life. No air conditioning, because why would you need it when the wind's already blowing at you through your non-existent windows? 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, so you can meet God faster in a Viper than a brand new Corvette or a Porsche Carrera at the time. No wonder it's often called the Widowmaker. Incredibly fast car. But when the king of the street became all too boring for Chrysler somehow, they moved on to racing with the Dodge Viper in 1996, 8 years after the conception of the car. And then out came the race-ready Viper GT-SR. Now this car is absolutely menacing looking. Like, if you Google the pictures, oh my god. And so my favorite parts really are like the nostril looking headlights with the yellow tint. I think they look so cool. And also the roof really kind of resembles those old like Fiat 750 Zagato double bubble roofs. Such cool cars. But okay, back to racing. So some of the most notable achievements of the car really are winning the Nürburgring of 24 hours. The 24 hours of Nürburgring 3 times, winning the 24 hours of Spa twice, and the 24 hours of Daytona once. And you can probably tell with these races, the car really thrives in endurance racing. But it also excelled at quote-unquote more normal racing. It won the famed FIA GT Championship a whopping 5 times, beating out legendary cars like McLaren F1s, F40 LMs, stuff like that. Absolutely nuts. And then to top it all off, they won their class in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is arguably the most famous motor race of all time, on 3 separate occasions in succession. Consecutively. That's crazy. I mean, they did just win their class and not overall, but that's still really cool. But, as you know, all good things come to an end. The production of the Viper came to a halt in 2017, leaving enthusiasts with a void in their hearts and no great American muscle car anymore. And with that comes our end. And with that, we come to an end of our journey through the captivating story of the Dodge Viper. From its humble beginnings to its triumphant victories on the track, the Viper remains an emblem of American automotive excellence, coming from the footsteps of the Shelby Cobra. So join us next time on Countersteer, whenever that may be. Only time will tell. Yeah. And so hopefully the next episode should be on the Lexus LS400, which I think is such an interesting car. But we'll see. Might take some time to get around to doing it. Research. But yeah, thanks so much. We'll see you later.